we'll just carry on. Right, bear with me. I don't know why it's done that. We're not rotating the phone. Okay, another rickety live stream coming your way. There we go. Right, let's see who's in the workshop. Who have we got? Bom, bom, bom. Top chat. I did see some. JJ, morning Andy and crew. Good morning, JJ. Welcome back, matey. And that's it so far. We've just got JJ's. Andy and JJ in the workshop getting shit done. Jim K, he's alive. I am, but only just. I'm running on about 0.76% batteries at the moment. I am knackered. More on that and why very shortly. I had 2 minutes to go make a coffee. I got a coffee made. Somebody else, and the house is full of people at the moment, somebody else had boiled the kettle, fortunately, so it was good to go. Anyway, cheers, and hey Steve, hope you're all good, mate. First sip of coffee this morning. So, the pie, question mark. Well, Mrs. Mechanic is going to head out this morning, and there's a new bakery stroke cafe kind of place opened up in the village. She's going to see if they've got a pie. If they have, she'll bring it back, and we'll have a pie. Pretty cool. So what's been going on the last week? Well, it's 2 weeks since I last saw you. And as you know, I like to run through my previous schedule and what I have coming up either side of the live stream. Now, this last week has been very, very long days. I was required to go to Australia, and that involves a plane, and I don't like planes. I think as the years go by, and I never used to bother me too much, other than watching the wings flap around all the time out the window and thinking, well, one day it'll snap off, and hopefully it won't be today. But anyway, this last trip, I had to go up to Auckland Monday morning. I deliberately booked an afternoon flight to give myself a bit of time. I had a trailer to take up, I had an ROV on it, and I had a generator in the back of the ute. And just took it steady, no problems at all. Got there in good time, got the trailer dropped off at work, just stored with the vehicle on the trailer, and then went across to the airport. And the airport, there's constant change going on at the airport. There's lots of developments happening at Auckland Airport, and parking is, well, it's a bit confusing at the moment. Anyway, managed to find a park, got the ute left, trundled away into the airport. And if you remember last time I went to the airport a few months ago, I was denied getting on the plane because I didn't have a visa. Yes, that's a whole different story. Not going to get into it on this live stream. But the good news is I did have a visa. In fact, two. One to get out of New Zealand and into Australia. And then, of course, I have to have another visa to get back into New Zealand. So it's a bit complicated for me to fly around outside the country. And the flight was about 4 p.m. So I had to check in 2 hours before. So about 2 o'clock. And the flight was about 3.5 hours from memory. And then I got a taxi, very expensive, $130 odd taxi to the hotel, which was great. You know, got to the hotel and was able to have a shower and just chill out, which was nice. However, Tuesday morning, I had to be up at 5 a.m. Now, I don't do 5 a.m. That is it's still the previous day as far as I'm concerned. So 5 a.m. starts, we have to be on site for, I think it was 6 or 6:30. I can't quite remember. Too early for breakfast. Got there and we had to set up the whole site. Now, you know what, Andy, what's going on? Okay, so in Sydney, there is the Sydney Raceway. It's basically a racetrack, very smart, very expensive, very well organized, with lots of really good facilities. And my employer decided to host an event there, and it was a really, really cool event. Day one, Tuesday, was where they invited dealers from across Australia, and we had a handful from New Zealand as well, to come down and do a ride day where they get to ride around the track and pick various models of motorcycle to get familiar with them. And there was a few new models in the lineup, and there was a never-ending line of bikes. It was 80 bikes, 85 bikes. It was just incredible the amount of work that had gone into preparing for this event, and it all went really, really well. And a lot of people got a lot of rides done that day. It was fantastic to see. It really was. And the feedback from the dealers was brilliant. No fall-offs, I don't believe. It all just went very, very well. And they were shifting. Those bikes were going well. And then we had a bit of packing up to do. That took us maybe an hour or so. And all through the day, the blazing sunshine is coming down. And as you can see, I've changed colour. I wasn't this colour a week ago. And then we got finished and back to the hotel about 6:30, 7 o'clock, something like that. Had a beer, had something to eat, and then straight to bed. Because it had to happen all over again the following day. This time it was for the staff, which was brilliant. Not just service staff, it was staff across all departments of my employer's head office in Australia, in Sydney. And they all came down, and many staff went out. People that you wouldn't think would ride went out and had an absolutely fantastic time. There was a huge range of skill set, right from never ridden a motorcycle before, and that was obvious, right through to some really good riders. We also had a stunt team on site, which was cool to watch, doing the backflips and things at lunchtime. I didn't ride, to be perfectly honest. The plan was on the morning, you had to have full leathers. And I didn't realise when I left New Zealand that that they had leathers there that they would lend you. Okay, so that wasn't on the table for me. I don't have leathers. I don't really ride road bikes. So I got it in my head that I wasn't going to ride. And on the Tuesday, watching all the dealers go out, thinking, oh, maybe I should have a go at riding, and everybody's saying, oh, you're riding tomorrow, Andy? And it was a bit of peer pressure, to be honest. But by the end of Tuesday, Wednesday morning, I had way too much sun. I was feeling really woozy. My eyesight was terrible, and just not feeling great. So I thought, no, let's not take any risks. I wasn't that interested in going around in circles anyway. I'm more of a over a mountain kind of a guy on motorbikes, and just spent the time catching up with some work and having a chat with lots of people that have been out on the bikes and getting their feedback as to what they thought about the bike and the main attributes, and what bits didn't they like about the bikes, that kind of thing, which was really interesting to see just how enthusiastic they were from when they got back, how pumped up they were after having a ride. And some people went out for 4 or 5 sessions, 20 minutes a session, so you can get quite a few laps. I think the lap time is about 2.5 minutes to do a lap, so it's 3 kilometers long was the course, and very, very good, actually. Really, really cool to do. They laid on some excellent food for the few days as well, and then of course we had to pack up again and then go back to the hotel. We got back about the same sort of time, I think it was, or maybe a little bit earlier. Maybe about 6 o'clock we got back, which was fine. And then Thursday, we had meetings all day, which was informative. It was great to catch up with all my work colleagues over in Australia and to discuss various bits and pieces that are going on. Obviously, I can't disclose any of the content of that meeting. That would be very unprofessional. But it was really good to catch up with everybody. Really, really, really enjoyed that. That was the most valuable part of the trip to me, to be honest. And then Thursday night, went out for a meal. Now, going out for a meal, we went in a hire car. One of the other reps from around Australia had flown in together with all the other reps, and he'd hired an MG car, a white one. And he'd been ferrying us around all week, and there was a few of us in the car whenever we went anywhere. And this car was atrocious. Ben's next door, by the way. He's fixing stuff. So whenever you went to accelerate, there was a massive delay before it actually got going. A bit like turbo lag, but it really wasn't turbo lag. You put your foot down and it would just sit there for what felt like a good couple of seconds, and then it would just, and this is foot hard to the floor, it would just, gently pick up speed for the first few seconds, and all of a sudden, bang, it decided, oh yeah, you want to go quick, off we go. And then the wheels would start to spin and away you go. It was just horrendous trying to pull out onto a busy roundabout or out of a busy junction. You had to almost hit the gas, the throttle, as the car went past you in order to sneak in behind it. You had to sort of preempt the whole thing. Anyway, on the drive to the restaurant, we decided to have a go at working out how the cruise control worked. It took us a while to find the buttons. We got there in the end, and then somehow we clicked on adaptive cruise control, which includes the radar system, and then the whole thing stopped working altogether. But the speedo froze at 100 k's an hour. We had no speedo in the car. We didn't know how fast we were going, which I don't think meets compliance. I think you should always be able to see somehow on the dash, somewhere, how fast the vehicle's travelling. So that was a bit of an eye-opener. Got to the meal, had the meal, that was pretty good, got away, and then had to go back to the hotel, and then had to get a taxi from that hotel to another hotel that was by the airport, about 45 minutes away, because I decided to stay at the airport, at the Ridges, very nice hotel actually, but I wasn't there for a few hours. And early morning start, get on a plane, fly back to New Zealand, which was a lot quicker because we had a bit of an airstream thing going on. We were doing like 950 odd kilometers an hour. It's pretty cool. Got landed to about 2 hours 20 minutes was the flight, and it was delayed a little bit at the start. Yes, Air New Zealand didn't do themselves any favors as far as I'm concerned on Friday. So in the airport, they announced, we're all queuing to get at the gate, and they announced the flight had been delayed by about half an hour. Hey, not a problem, half an hour, what the hell? We're going to get there quicker anyway, it's all good. So I had to wander off to go and look at the duty free, see if I get Mrs. Mechanic a gift or whatever. And then, within about 10 minutes, over the Tannoy, gate 63 is now open. Oh, okay. So I wandered, what I thought was to wander back, went the wrong way in the airport, ended up miles away from my gate, had to run back to the gate, got there, and everybody's still queuing. But the sign says gate opening green. So I think, okay, well, we're going to be going in a minute. And I almost don't have the energy to run through this, to be honest with you. I was stood there in the queue. There's probably a couple of hundred people waiting to get on. And they obviously have a tannoy in the airport, as you all know. Most of you have flown. And, there's various messages coming over the tannoy, and they're pretty loud, and there are lots of different accents and dialects and languages and all sorts of stuff. And being stood pretty much under a speaker after a while, it does your head in, to be honest. And anyway, this, after probably 15 minutes, so one of the flight attendant, or people, staff, starts shouting at us, not using the tannoy, just trying to tell the group something. And I'm thinking, man, this is a really busy airport. There's a lot of us, and every few seconds the tannoy fires up. The vast majority of us couldn't hear a word that this lass was saying. And she seemed to time it just right, where she'd start to speak and the tannoy would fire up as well, which was most bizarre. And it wasn't her on the tannoy, believe me. So anyway, we're stood there for nearly an hour, looking like lemmings, and eventually we get on the plane. I was well pissed, to be honest. There was seats 20 meters away that we could all just have sat down at. But oh no, you got to stay in the queue. And they're trying to break the queue up into various seats number groups as well. But none of us could understand what the hell they were saying. So we were just stood there, again, like I said, like lemmings. Got on the plane, all good, took off. I hate taking off. Took off, off we go. And over the tannoy in the plane, hey, we're going to serve some food in about half an hour. I'm like, ooh, excellent. You can always eat some food, that'll be good, that'll burn a few minutes. And trolley comes along, and what would you like, sir? I would like the macaroni cheese, please. I think that's probably the best option out of what you've got going. We'll have one of them. Oh, I think we've run out of that. Let me just go and check for you. So this chap potters off. Never saw him again. He must have grabbed a parachute and jumped off the plane. He never came back. So I didn't get any lunch. Everybody else got fed. And I'm looking down going, well, where's mine? Didn't get offered an alternative, just, we haven't got any. Let me go and find out. And then he jumped out of the plane. Well, I don't know what he did. Maybe he went and hid somewhere. I don't know. So no lunch. Not the end of the world. I survived, obviously. But, you know, it would have been nice. Looking forward to some macaroni cheese. Not had that for ages. And the first meal on the way to Australia was really good. So, you know, and what made matters worse is the guy sat next to me on the right. He'd eaten his main course, and there was one of those, eclair. He had an eclair sat in a box, and he never ate it. And I'm looking at this eclair going, oh, I could eat that. I could, and he didn't eat his little bread bun either. I thought, oh, I could eat that. But no, it got taken away, didn't it? What a waste. Anyway, we landed. Had to then find the ute, and I did make a mental note of where I parked the ute, so I found it pretty quick. Loaded up, had to drive back to head office, hitch up this trailer that I brought down on the Monday, drive all the way out to Bethells Beach on the west coast, north of Auckland, through all the traffic. So it's now about, I think we landed about 4 o'clock, left head office about 4:45, peak traffic on a Friday. Get all across the whole of Auckland to get to Bethells Beach, drop this machine off, and then drive all the way back through Auckland traffic again. Got to Bombay, got a coffee. This is about 8 o'clock at night now, and then drive home from there. I didn't get home until 11:30 that night, and I'd been up since about 6 a.m. Again, another long, long day. Really, really tired. But made it home safe. I've driven worse distances and times and stuff, but I was really, really pleased when I rolled down the driveway. This week has been one hell of a mission. It really has. So that's why I look tanned and knackered, to be honest. So there's the backstory to it all. So who we got in the workshop? Jim K. I am still alive, thank you. Jim Haynes, we are all back today. No races until next year. Well, it's good to get another season under your belt. Well done, Jim. Jim K, so many convicts, so little. You can't say that. I mean, many, many years ago, Jim, yes, it's general knowledge that convicts were sent to Australia, right? But I think it would be a bit unfair to tar the current population of Australia as all convicts. I mean, there's going to be some, right? And I don't dispute that every country's got a few convicts. But you said it, not me. Okay, let's leave it at that. Vijay Governor, good evening, Andy and crew. How is everybody doing? Well, Vijay says, you know, I am knackered. The real Daz, sorry. Late morning, Andy and crew. That's all right, Daz. Don't worry, matey. I only just got here in time. Sheldon is in the workshop. Morning, Andy and crew. Big smiley face and a thumbs up. What a bloke. Simon, morning, Andy and crew. Think I jinxed your flight home. I think you might have done. It was, I mean, the flight itself was all right. I even put a movie on to try and, you know, forget about the woes of Air New Zealand. I mean, normally they're really good. That flight, probably going to get sued now, but they'd been a lot better off those staff working for Jetstar. Just saying. Anyway, I decided yesterday to pull my finger out. I was really knackered, obviously, like I said, but I pulled my finger out. I did some stuff. I've got some photos for you. So we bring the photos up and I will show you them. Okay, how can I do this? Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. Phone has got a message on. Rotation is blocked. Please rotate back. I'm just going to pop the phone out so we can get rid of that message. So we're going to go down and up. Oh, it likes it that way around. Well, it shouldn't do because stupid phone, I chose that orientation at the start. Anyway, The woes of running a live stream. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. I know it's not particularly close. I can go down a bit. Hang on. Dum, 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 dum. There we go. We can go forward a bit and rotate a bit. I know you hate this, don't you? Okay, so the potting shed. There you go, look. It's in. We got it moved last weekend. It's all in place, it's all screwed down. And yesterday's job was to put in a door frame. Now, this is 100 by 100 treated timber. It's a bit of overkill. It's the only size timber I had spare. So there you go. These are the doors that I made yesterday afternoon. So Mrs. Mechanic goes, well, I said, do you want one door? You know, one big door that basically covers the whole thing. And she goes, not really. And I was like, well, that's probably going to put a lot of stress on one side, and it is only a tin shed, so fair call. We'll do split doors. And then she goes, oh, since you're doing split doors, could I have a stable door on the right-hand side? So now, rather than being one door with three doors, so this is the left door, that's the lower right-hand door. It has got a hinge on it, by the way. Now look, it's just a different colour for some reason, don't know why. And oh, these are all galv, and is that zinc, and that's something else. And then that's the top door. And I've still yet to make all the pins and brackets to put the doors on. That's today's job. This is inside the potting shed. So I've donated my one of the workbenches I had spare to Mrs. Mechanic, so she's got that. We've got the window working. We panelled it all out, so all this timber work is all new. Put all the tools around there. We fixed the skylight because that had dropped out of its groove and was going to leak water. So all that was fixed. Put her a few bits and pieces up on the wall. She's very happy, by the way, very happy indeed. And then to brace the door frame, I used a big bit of metal that I had flying around the workshop that's now redundant. That went in there. And then I put some 100x50s at 45 degrees at each end against the side of the shed. So that door frame is incredibly strong, actually. It's really, really good. So the doors will hang off there perfectly. Very happy with that. It came out absolutely brilliantly. It's still a bit of work in progress, but Mrs. Mechanic is over the moon with her little potting shed. Very, very good. Do like that. Right, back on the live stream. There we go. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. Growing up in the world. Terrible. Should have more than one camera, but then I wouldn't be able to control them, would I? And you're not even level. Hang on. Honestly, that message, it really winds me up because it doesn't show the comments on the screen anymore. I have to look down here. So Jim, yes, we'll leave that one alone. What else we got? Simon should have went with Yorkshire Airways. Will have gotten a pint of bitter and mushy peas on the flight. That would have been brilliant. Yes, pints of bitter. I mean, they did sell alcohol, but of course it wasn't going to happen because I had to drive when I got back. It took me about 8.5 hours to get home, you know, including the loop to Bethel's Beach. But it had to be done because they've recently taken on another brand, which I can talk about. They've recently taken on Can-Am, as opposed to their previous brand, which I used to service and still do service a little bit on the old stuff. Absolutely do not do any repairs whatsoever to Can-Ams. That would be, I think, taking the piss, to be honest. So not interested, not going to service Can-Ams at this point in time. And obviously if my employment changes, then there might be an option there, but I'm not really very interested in doing Can-Ams, to be fair. Anyway, this brand new shiny Can-Am, it's only a few months old, and I got there and the chap goes, oh, hey Andy, while you're here, any chance you can have a look at the Can-Am because it doesn't go? I'm like, well, not really. I did tell you at the start, I says, I can't do any work on those. We can talk about the symptoms and I can give you some ideas, but I sure as hell can't put a spanner on it. And anyway, it turns out it's got a parasitic drain. Every time, and a significant one, every time they go to it, the battery is flat. Serious current flowing out of that battery until, you know, and it flattens within a few hours. So, you know, it's pretty bad. But they can't get anyone to go out and fix it because it's so remote and the local dealer's just not interested. So, and of course, the Can-Ams were a direct sale from Can-Am New Zealand. they didn't go through local dealers, so they didn't keep the dealers on board. And they're not interested in driving for 2 hours through Auckland traffic to go and pick something up, to drive 2 hours, half a day to go and get it. It's just not going to happen. So they've now got these machines, which when they fail, they can't fix them, and they're not getting serviced. It's not my problem. It's a shame, but it's not my problem. And to do anything about it, I'd probably get into trouble for it, to be fair. So I just said the best option, get rid of it, and buy some more of these. Yes, which is definitely supporting the brand, isn't it? Roger Apes, good morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Roger. Hope Invercargill's all good down there. Sheldon, oh no, heaven help them. They're not, it's like I say, normally Air New Zealand, brilliant. On that particular occasion, far, far from it. And they didn't like my comment about maybe you should go and get a job with Jetstar. They didn't like that. That went down really badly. Maybe that's why I didn't get any food. Maybe they went, hey, oh, this lad, don't feed him. He's an asshole. But you've got to say something, right? If you're not happy, feedback's important. So that's been my week. That's what I did yesterday. Very, very pleased with how it came out. Just need to weld up or fabricate up some pins for the hinges. I've got to find some steel, which is the right diameter. I'm just looking at Jared's go-kart, actually. I might have some tube. I'd like to use solid pins, but they're not very heavy doors. And even the biggest door's got 3 hinges. So even a bit of tube welded to a plate on a little outrigger will be fine. It's just a potting shed, right? So I'm sure I'll find something kicking around. And I've got to make at the same time, I've got to make the same stuff for Ben's little doors that I made for him that go onto the roof of the workshop. So I've got 10 brackets to make this morning. While I'm doing that, Mrs. Mechanic, oh, I can show you this, actually. Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. Mrs. Mechanic got all the brackets tapped yesterday. She got all the welds cleaned up and everything. So they just need to be sandblasted. That's her job today. And then this afternoon, hopefully, I can get them in paint. Just don't know how long it's going to take her to sandblast them. But she's not going to sandblast them intensely, mainly around the welds, to be honest. So fingers crossed, it'll all go to plan and we can get those in paint. And then while I'm away in the South Island, yes, that's coming up very shortly, she can paint them. Where am I going? I have no idea. Little wander around the workshop. Sorry, Jared, your go-kart's not been done yet. A long-standing joke. Oh, we've got a parcel. Hang on. Let's grab the parcel. There we go. Bum, bum, bum. Give them a shout out. Bridge Street Automotive. Top blokes. They found the parts for Larry the Carry. Hopefully they're going to be right. We're going to find out shortly. Turning around. Boom. There we go. We're back. Okay. Is that going to work? It's sort of going to work. Terrible camera work as always. Okay. So in here are the parts, hopefully, for Larry the Carry. Now, Larry the Carry, we've only had him just over a year, about now. Yeah, about a year we've had him. And he failed the warranty fitness inspection. He's passed 1 in our ownership, but the steering's always been a little bit clunky, a little bit knock, as if something's a bit loose. Well, as it turned out, something was loose, so I tightened that back up and it was a lot better. But one of the ball joints within the very complicated steering arrangement had a little bit too much play in it for the guy to be happy. He was actually quite upset. He's like, that needs to be changed, has to be changed, you need a new one. And I thought, well, no worries. There's loads of those around. Parts should be easy. So I rang our local Suzuki dealer where we bought the Jimny from. Super helpful people. Ingham Suzuki in Taupo. And I said, hey, I've got a classic Larry the Carry here and I need some parts. Hopefully you can help. So Cameron, the gentleman there that served me on the phone, super helpful, fired me through a parts diagram, and I went, yes, I'll have one of those and one of these and one of them, because I've done an inspection on the vehicle and I filmed it. I've got that's in the can. Just got to film the fix and then you've got a video. And I thought, perfect, okay, I want these. And he came back and said, nope, you can't have any of those, they're no longer available, there's no stock in Japan, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? There's loads of these around. Surely you're still supplying parts from. Nope, no parts. I said, well, can you give us the part numbers? And then at least I can search on Google and try and source them that way. Nope, not going to give you the part numbers. Why would you not give me the part numbers? What the hell's going on? Anyway, he sort of battened down the hatches and that was the end of that. But I did have the diagram. And there was a watermark on the diagram of a website where I'd got the diagram from. And it wasn't a Suzuki diagram. So I then went onto that website, found the diagram, put the vehicle details in, found the diagram. That gave me the part numbers. So I knew what I needed. And then started to search for those. To no avail. I really struggled, to be honest. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute. One of the dealers in our network, one of his mechanics has a slightly newer Larry the Carry. Maybe he'll know where I can get the parts from. So I rang them and he said, yep, we'll contact Suzuki New Zealand and see what they can do. Perfect. Because I was only dealing with a dealer before and they can contact Suzuki New Zealand direct, which is even better. So they came back within that same afternoon. Yep, no problem. You can't have everything, but the important bits, the ball joints that you want, are all available in Japan. And I'm like, genuine parts? Yep, genuine parts. Suzuki Japan, you can get them, no problem. Do you want them? I said, well, give us a price. And I'm like, ouch. Yeah, we're going to need them. So it doesn't really matter on the price, does it? If you need them, you need them. No aftermarket parts available, from what I can understand. Plus, I wanted to fit genuine, really. That, you know how I operate. So, genuine parts, we know that we better chance of being correct. And time's of the essence, because I want to get this video out, right? So, they order the parts. It's going to be 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Okay. I can live with that. 4 weeks. I'll focus on the potting shed, and then the parts will get here. And then we're all good. Hang on. Coffee time. So when they came to send them out, because they said, oh, they're here now, brilliant. What's your address? I gave them my address. Oh, we don't want to send them to a rural location. Fair call. So I got them sent to the local dealer, and Craig Stevens, who often receives parts for me. And then Mrs. Mechanic went for a little joyride and went to go and pick them up. Right, I'm going to go in, and I'm going to open it off camera, because there might be something inside that you're not allowed to see. I don't know yet, because I haven't opened it. This is real live TV, isn't it? And hopefully, oh my word. Jeez, okay. Golly. What have we got? I just want to get the paperwork out. Oh, hang on. There is no paperwork. Brilliant. So, bit of packing, but no air in there. Okay, we have got parts. What have we got? What did I buy? I can't remember. We've got, this is what I like about genuine stuff. Handwritten. Look at that. So in there, let's open it up. I'm so excited. Larry the Carry's gonna be back on the road. I did plan to do it today, but I need to get these brackets finished, so he's gonna have to wait until next Saturday. Although I am going to take Friday off, I think, for the number of hours that I put in Australia. I think I'm due a day off. Right, so we've got in here, yes, an adjustment nut. Perfect, so I'll put that back in there. A little lock nut, stick him over there. And another one, again, handwritten. Oh, it's so cool. I actually keep these little bags for posterity, because it won't be many more years before we don't get handwritten parts labeling going on. Honda did it, didn't they, with the CB750? There was some handwritten stuff. Right, and in here, I think these are the castle nuts. Bear with me. Like sweets, aren't they? There we are, look. So some nice new castle nuts as well. Do the job properly, Andy. Do the job properly. And they weren't expensive. They were like $1 each, so why wouldn't you? Okay, we've got a box. What's in the box? Part number 48800, 82810 for this one. Proper genuine parts. I do like it. Okay, what have we got in here? We've got some instructions. Oh, look. This is cool. So you can actually buy, I don't think we need it, but I got it just in case. And maybe for the future, because you've got to future-proof the truck. You can buy just the boot for the ball joint, and you get grease with it as well. That's cool. You don't see that much these days. It's all about just replace the whole thing, you know? But if the boot gets damaged, I can now replace one of the boots. And I think it's the same boot on all the ball joints. So we've got one in stock, which is brilliant. Now, these are the main parts. This is the ball joint, hopefully anyway. Yes, left-hand thread, that's good. This is the ball joint, which has failed the warranty fitness. And you'll see in the video, we do a little bit of testing on the original ball joint to try and measure the amount of play in it. It wasn't ideal. You could actually see more play when it was on the vehicle, but it gave us an idea. This is part number, for those that need to know, very important. There's the part number, look. 48820-50F01. And there it is. That was expensive. I was hoping there'd be an invoice in here to give you the prices, but the whole lot cost about $550. Was not cheap, but we needed it. So we've got that. And then there's a little link bar. Here we are, look, this one here, which connects to the steering rack, the end of the steering rack shaft. And that's got a ball joint at one end and a bush at the other end. And you'll see in the video when it goes out, there was definitely a bit of play in the bush, and I could feel some play in this ball joint as well. I thought, well, I know the warrant guy's not picked up on it, but whilst we're ordering parts and whilst we can still get them, now would be a good time to purchase. So there you go, look, we've got genuine, all genuine parts. So very, very happy with that. Well done, Bridge Street Automotive. You have pulled out all the stops to get me these parts. They were super helpful. And they're only a little rural garage, you know. It's not like they're in a big city. But I think that probably helps a little bit. They're more prepared to help the customers and to help me as well. You know, they've been great. Really, really, really thankful. And, okay, you know, the pot's not endless, but cost-wise, if they're prepared to help me, I'm happy for them to make some money on these. It's not a problem at all. Now, back to the comments. Sheldon Rush, I mean the Can-Ams. Oh, yes. Yes, sorry, mate. Yes. Well, Air New Zealand and, of course, the Surf Life Saving. I mean, at the end of the day, they're emergency vehicles, are these ROVs that are based at the surf clubs around New Zealand, and there's a lot of them. And, you know, when somebody gets into trouble in the water, the life-saving people, the lifeguards, have got to be able to jump in that machine, and it has to start, and it has to get them there because somebody's life's at stake. And if the vehicle doesn't start, somebody could die, you know, and that's, you know, imagine if your house caught fire and you rang the fire brigade and they go, oh, I'm sorry, we can't get the truck fired up. What? You know, it has to function. It's got to do its job. And so I strongly think that they're going to come back to the previous brand, the ones that I service, partly because of the servicings that I provide them. You know, if they have a problem, I go out there, I either fix it on site or I bring it back to base and I fix it. The one that I've just fixed for them recently, the one that I delivered back on Friday, that one needed a new steering rack and a new master cylinder together with a basic service. I didn't do CVT drive. It done about, I don't know, 30 or 40 hours since it was last serviced. So CVT drive was fine. Didn't do the brakes. The brakes were all fine apart from the master cylinder. So we just fit a new master cylinder, bled the brakes, tested them all. Good piston retraction. None of the brakes were binding. Job was a carrot because that machine, I was told, was going to get sold. Given the state of the Can-Am, they might have to use it now, which is their call, you know, but it is an older one. It really should be sold. And we also stripped all the plastics off, or most of the plastics, and we gave it a fresh under seal, ready for sale. So it looks nice, you know, it looks, because, you know, it's probably 4 years old. Even with the under seal, you know, the salt does get to them after a while. So we tidied it up for them, so they get a bit more money when they come to sell it. And they were super grateful. Oh, Tessafun. Hello, Andy, the mechanic. Sorry, hello, Andy, the mechanic. How are you doing? I wish you a nice weekend in my country, Ethiopia. Now it's nighttime. It's night, 11 o'clock by the looks of it. And the year, what? And the year is 2017. The month is November the 30th, the second month of our calendar. I am confused. So you have a different calendar in Ethiopia. Wow. I'm very much in the future for you then. That's interesting. I'll have to Google that. Simon, love the SGP on the Suzuki genuine parts. Yes. I'll give you a close. Very cool, isn't it? I'll be keeping the box, don't you worry. It's terrible. UK Mechanic, Andy, those ball joint boots are available here in the UK by the pack. Various sizes, aftermarket obviously. Maybe try online or possibly find a UK supplier that will post to you. Good call. I mean, obviously, the new parts come with boots already on, you know. But when I saw this available, and it wasn't expensive, I can't, $15, something like that. It was cheap, and I thought, well, you know what? There's quite a few ball joints on that steering system. We're going to be taking it on a bit of an adventure in the next few months, and it may well be that one of them gets damaged, and the guy fails it on the warrant, and I'll go, oh, it's all right, I've got a spare boot, all good to go, and they're easy to swap out, so that's good. So yeah, I'm very happy. Larry the Carry will be back on the road shortly. Mrs. Mechanic has already filled Larry the Carry up with garden rubbish. So when I come to do the next part of the video, it won't be today, sorry, it'll be next Saturday is the plan. It's going to come in the workshop full of garden. Sorry. Yes, she couldn't hold back. She had some trees to prune to get the potting shed in place. And we thought, well, we'll just put them straight in Larry. There's no point in double handling, right? Just put them straight in Larry the Carry. And then he can go off to the tip once he's got his warrant. So yeah, there you go. That's the parcel, and I'm very, very, very pleased to have that parcel here now. I think I've already paid for them. I'll have to check. Everything's a blur. I think maybe I meant to pay for them on Monday while I was in Australia, or traveling to Australia, and then maybe completely forgot. So I'll have to just double check. If I haven't, Bridge Street, it'll get paid tomorrow. Guaranteed. Apologies. If I have already paid it, hey, top blow. Oh, all sorts going on. So the plan of attack today, I've got some brackets to make, which will probably take me half a day to do because there's a bit of welding and drilling and countersinking and stuff. And then I've got some painting to do. Hopefully we'll get the painting done. If not, I'll have to do the painting probably on Friday because I'm taking Friday off. That's the plan. To get it approved first. And then I can still do Larry on the Saturday. Larry won't take all day to do. He's going to be half a day tops, including the filming, if that, to be fair. It's just reassembly. It's easy, you know, easy peasy. He'll have to go for a wheel alignment at some point, but I'll get it close enough. It doesn't go far. It goes to the tip and back, and that's about it. So, although Ben did borrow Larry the Carry about 6 weeks ago. He borrowed it for a week. Drove to Auckland in it because his ute was off the road. And never again, he said, not driving that again. It's too small. Although he had a lot of fun in Auckland when it was raining because it just doesn't grip. It just, back wheels just spin. Because the Auckland roads are really greasy when it rains. There's a lot of rubber in the, you know, on the tarmac. Connor K, morning Andy and crew. Sorry I'm late. Clock changed last week. Forgot to change the alarms. Connor, it's all good, matey. Don't you worry about it. Now, I've not seen a pie come through yet. We've done the parcel. There is no pie at the moment. Mrs. Mechanic, the plan was Mrs. Mechanic was going to flick down to the local new bakery that's just opened, although we don't know what time it opened. It's not on Google yet, to grab me a pie. It's not here. So, and I am getting hungry. So, I'm going to treat you to my survival rations. Okay, so when I'm out on the road, I seem to bounce between BP petrol stations. BP petrol stations are where I get the diesel for the ute that I drive. We have a fuel card for each of our fleet vehicles. And of course they do the Wild Bean Cafe pies, and as you know, the steak and cheese. Sorry, the gourmet steak and cheese is my favourite. So, you know, it stands to reason that I'm going to stock up with stuff for the ute while I'm there. And this is the brand of sort of, what is it? It's like a, I don't know, like an oaty sort of bar with lots of sugar in it. It's really bad for me. And Eloise, my daughter, tells me, Daddy, you've got to stop eating these. These are really bad for you. And she's quite animated when she does that. But hey, they taste nice and they keep me going. And this is what they look like. And they're not cheap, to be fair. There you go, look. Big block of something. Easy to eat whilst driving, you know. And enough to keep you going. I found one of these in the ute on Friday when I got out of the airport. Because I was bloody hungry. I'd had my breakfast. Luckily, I had a full English breakfast at the airport at about 7:30, I think it would have been. 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And I had nothing to eat till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Although, time difference, realistically, 2 o'clock. Ooh. I can hear Mrs. Mechanic. She got me a pie. Did you get a pie? Kind of. Oh, I have to save this for later now. Okay, I was just about to bite into it. Maybe I still can. Oh, hang on then. Back in a minute. No, I haven't got one.
Bacon and egg. Well, you have to choose one because
Right.
then the other one's the real one.
Okay.
That's why you have to choose.
Okay, we've got pies. Pies are good. One is for Uncle Daniel. Uncle Daniel, Emma's brother, is here. Doing a bike ride across around this part of New Zealand. Bicycle ride. So we've got a Makatu Pies mince and cheese. Ooh, we've got a Bake Shack steak and onion. And we've got a Bake Shack bacon and egg. Now, we did that Eggs Benedict thing last time, so that was very similar. We won't have that one. That can go back on the thingy. So, I think we'll have done that one. We'll have done a mince and cheese Makatu. So I don't think we've done a Bake Shack steak and onion. Let's go and take a look. 10, 9, 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, let's go have a look. So, Bake Shack steak and onion. Can you spot it? It probably wasn't particularly high score if we have done it, I don't think. Bake Shack. Bake Shack. Bake Shack mince pie. Nope. Bake Shack. Bake Shack steak. What's that one? Still haven't got the stickers yet. Number 8. No. Bake Shack steak, egg and bacon. Oh, is it on this one? Is it a low score? Bake Shack steak and cheese. Bake Shack. I think that's going to be the one, isn't it? Bake Shack pepper steak. Right. We haven't done it. Perfect. Okay, let's get it out of the wrapper and stick it in the pie warmer. Right. Hang on. I'll give you these pies back. There you go. No, oh. Connoisseur of pies, what are you on about? Right. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I'm doing it off camera now. Here we go. Right, Bake Shack steak and onion. Oh, rip the bag, Andy, rip the bag. Ooh, look at that. Nice. Right, to the pie warmer. Bum, 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 bum. It is reasonably warm already, so it won't need long. Maybe just, I don't know, that much. Okay, we're good to go. We've got a pie. Perfect timing, Mrs. Mechanic. Well done. Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, here we go. Oh, she saw me eating something. Nom, 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 nom. And she's like, oh, you've already got something to eat. No pie. Yoink. And I'm like, no. Give me the pie. So I managed to prize the pies out of her. Okay, I'm just going to stick these back in the box and make some space. Very, very cool. Thank you again, Bridge Street Automotive. Not a sponsor. These are all paid for. These all will be paid for if they're not already paid for. But very, very grateful for the amount of time and effort they put into finding those parts and sourcing them for me. Without them, I mean, I was really starting to struggle. I thought, well, you know, if Suzuki New Zealand haven't got any parts and Suzuki Japan haven't got any parts, and you can't get aftermarket, what am I going to do? We need Larry the Carry fixed. You know, I mean, sure, there's going to be some wrecked ones around, but they're probably already part worn and probably no better than the one that was on it. Because there wasn't a lot of play and the guy failed it. So he's pretty picky, isn't he? But such is life. We got there in the end. Okay, so we've got a pie. I'm very happy about that. Dum 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 dum. Hang on, rolling back. Simon, am I right in thinking Larry the Carry is the Bedford rescale? The same base van. I think they are. You know, you've got your Larry the Carry is very, very small. I remember in the UK you could get the Suzuki Super Carry, which at the time they did a 1000cc one and they did a 1.3, I believe, as well. And the 1000cc one had basically the same engine in as the Suzuki Jeeps, the F10A, but all the manifolds and engine mounts are different because they laid it on its side a bit more, so it would fit under the floor. There was, you know, rather than under the bonnet in the Jeep. But I did buy a few over the years. I did buy a few of the Super Carry 1 litre engines, and then strip all the bits off and put all the Jeep manifolds and engine mounts and stuff, and then put them in the Suzuki Jeeps. You had to change the sump, you had to change the oil pickup, all that kind of stuff, but the base block was the same, and that was pretty good. It's quite, because Jeep engines were quite hard to come by, the Suzuki Jeeps, near the end, and of course it was easier. There was another source of finding an engine to do the job. You know, it was good. But yes, all done. We don't want that. Keith Appleton, model steam engines. Used to watch his channel now and again. The Real Dales, Cookie Time made in Christchurch. Is that who makes these, Cookie Time? If they have, they've made lots of money out of me. It's got Manuka, can't speak today, Manuka honey, premium wholesome ingredients, no artificial flavours. Yeah, right. Internationally patented. Wow. Delivers balanced nutrition. You see, Eloise, it's good for you. Yes, Cookie Town Limited, you're right. Main South Road in Christchurch. What the hell? I'll have another bite because it's so nice. I'll get told off now, having one of these and a pie. Okay, I'll stick that over there. I'll have that later. Flapjack. Pretty much flapjack. Not quite the same taste. And they do seem to vary. Some of them are really, really sugary and really gooey. And others, well, they're not. They're actually, one or two of them are almost too sugary to eat. They are very sickly sometimes. Like they've got the mix wrong. But in the main, pretty good. And they last forever in your car, which is great. It saved the day on Friday because I was so hungry. And I just wanted to get out of the airport. I wasn't going to eat in the airport before I found the truck. I just had to get going and get to head office before they locked up to get the trailer. I live in a world of chaos, honestly. A world of borderline logistics. That's probably the best way of putting it. So next week, what's Andy going to do next week? Well, I'm working from home. I am. And the reason for that is on Sunday, which is the 17th of November, I depart on another epic journey. I'm leaving for the South Island. So on the Sunday, I'll be driving down to Picton and getting the ferry. Same day, get on the ferry. Driving down to Wellington, get on the ferry to Picton. I'll be staying in Picton Sunday night, and then I've got to drive across to Nelson. I've got some training to do in Nelson, and then a dealer visit. So I'll be in Nelson, I think, 3 days. And then I drive over the mountains to Hammer Springs. I'll be staying in Hammer Springs. And then down into Christchurch, and then off to do, the full run around the South Island. And it's a very, very busy trip. I'm away for about 3.5 weeks. And there's pretty much something going on every single day, whether it's a dealer visit or a visit to a customer's farm to do some research work or some testing. Pardon me, or to a off-road centre in Queenstown. I've got to spend a whole Saturday there. Might have to go back on the Sunday. Don't know. See how things go. So yeah, I get back. I think it's about the 9th or the 10th of December. It's a long time, but hey, has to be done. So this week, I'll be at home Monday. I'll be working Monday to Thursday. Hopefully I can get Friday off. There's no guarantees at this point in time. So Tuesday and Thursday, I've got the last 2 visits to do for the North Island. They were scheduled a few weeks ago, but other stuff came along. I had to cancel them or delay them. So I want to get those 2 done and out of the way. So when I start the South Island run, it's just the South Island that's left for this year. And then when I get back, I'll have a couple of weeks. I'm going to do a week of admin work at home, and then I'm up to Auckland just before Christmas for a few days. Obviously working in the office. And then that's it. And then over Christmas, we're going to be building the next stage of the side port. We've got all the big timber beams. I've got some steel work to cut, some brackets to fabricate up. Ben's coming down for a couple of days, and we're going to get the big beams up. That's the next big task. Once that's done, I've got to save up to buy the 50x100s, and we've got all the angle iron here ready to make the L brackets that hold all that in place. I think we've got all the nuts and bolts we need. I'll have to double check on that. Need to make sure we've got those for Christmas. And I'll need to buy the tin. The steel work, the roofing sheets will be about $2,000, I think, for those with the screws. And the timber, which I've got to do another run, which is a full day's drive to go and get that. Oh, hang on. Who have we got? I'm back. We've got fresh coffee. Woohoo! So yeah. So we're not going to get the roof on over Christmas, that's for sure. And I don't even think we'll get there's the pie. The beams, the main beams will go up, but the whatever you want to call them, the bits that hold the steel work in place, the roofing, I don't think they'll be in place either. But we can get the brackets made. That's a big job, making all the brackets. And we should just have enough angle iron, hopefully. If not, I'll have to just use what I've got. We'll work it out. We're trying to use up what we've got. We don't want to spend any more money, if we can help it. But no, it's coming together. It's coming together really well. We've got plans, and hopefully, once that side port's done, we'll have loads more room. We can get everything under the house port moved under there temporarily, and then we can get the deck built for the house port. So we'll have a really nice deck. And then next year, I'm going to buy a hot tub. Yes. I always liked remember the Fall Guys series on TV? And the Fall Guy's there in his hot tub smoking his cigar. Lee Majors. There he is. And that's just like, I need that. I need that in my life. I need to be able to jump in that hot tub after, get home on a Friday night and just jump in the hot tub. We'll have some kind of a projector movie thing. We'll put a movie on. Oh, it'll be so good. So good. Anyway. Simon. Put that new roof, yes you did, you put the new roof on your shed last weekend, and it's not rained yet. Damn, I can't test it. I want it to piss it down to make sure there are no leaks. You really do. But I tell you what, when there are no leaks, and I'm sure there won't be because you're very good at what you do, it's such a good feeling, isn't it? It's like, oh yes, job done in the end. I mean, putting the new roof on the workshop here was, well, as you know, we put a second roof above the original, which I thought was a really smart move. It worked brilliantly. But the amount of work involved in building that whole new structure to mount the roof on was... sometimes I enter projects without really thinking how much work's involved. Yeah. But it's done, and I'm really chuffed it is. Really chuffed. I think the cigarette's gone out, so what we can do is we can go and rescue that pie, and we can do the pie, because time is of the essence. It's 9:30, so we've been going an hour, haven't we, by the looks of it? Yes, an hour. Okay, let's go and get the pie. 3, 2, 1, boom! Okay, here we go. Oh, by the way, I tried something yesterday with this saw that you should never, ever do. It only goes to 45 degrees. You can twizzle this around and do 45-degree cuts. And I needed a cut with a more acute angle to it, so I held the wood. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I held the wood away from the back, about here, and went to cut it. And it jammed, and it broke the wood, and it fired a piece of wood at me. Yes, but I don't blame the saw. It was me, and you should never, ever do that. Always make sure your wood is tight against the back here. Very important. Rookie. It wasn't even a mistake, because I knew what I was doing, but it's the first time it's ever done that. It was not happy at all. Right, we'll leave that open. Here we go. Oh, it's got a few cracks. It's quite hot now. Okay. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Mrs. Mechanic, we were talking yesterday about my live streams. And she says, you know, Andy, you don't have very many people watching your live streams, do you? I said, well, most of them don't watch them in real time. Most of them watch them post live stream. And I said, we usually get, I don't know, sometimes 500, sometimes 450, sometimes 800. It all depends, you know, on what people are thinking and what the content is, and if you're going to ramble all the time. But she sort of missed the point, because my live streams are not about, you know, opening out to the masses. It doesn't bother me whether we have, you know, 100 views or 1,000 views. It makes no difference. This is my time where it's the 1 hour, an hour and a half that I have where I'm not really, I don't have to do anything. You know, this is just me talking. I don't have to fix things or keep other people happy or have a deadline or a timeline. I can just do what I want and relax and eat my pie and have a natter with you lads. And if you want to be here, that's fine. And if you don't, that's also fine. And we've all got things to do. It's a bit of a, you know, you just drop in whenever you like. Anyway, the pie, here we go. So we've got some cracks down the side. Structural integrity is slightly compromised, although it doesn't feel too bad. It's not moving around too much, so there you go, look, the lid. Yeah, a bit of a crack across the lid there, look. And the base. Oh, he's looking a bit thin in the middle there. He's almost... We'll have to watch that, won't we? Okay, so those that have just joined us, and apologise, I mutilated the bag. This is a Bake Shack steak and onion pie. And we had a quick look on the board of pies, the wall of pies, and I don't think we've rated it. It doesn't look like it. So we're going to go in, we're going to rate this, and then Andy's got some brackets to make today. Okay, here we go. The pie. Well, you can taste those onions straight away. Not bad, actually. Not bad. Now, it does say steak and onions. I'm expecting some nice chunks of meat in here, not mince. We'll find out. Nom, 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 nom. Ooh, Carvoca Designs. Start the saw away from the wood before engaging the blade. Oh, I always do that. Always do that. I've never been trained on how to use one, you know. I've never really had a problem. I mean, well, I have. I've had a few close shaves. Not with my fingers. I always try to keep my fingers well away from the blade. But It was just as easy. I was just rushing, you know. I should have just got I've got a little rechargeable Makita handheld sort of circular sawy thing, and that did the job just fine. I prefer it on there because it does more accurate cuts, right? But I shouldn't have attempted to do what I was doing, and I sort of half expected that something was going to go wrong. But when it went, it all happened real quick, and this bit of wood just flew out and bounced off my chest, and I was like, donkey, why would you do that? Anyway. Nom nom nom. It's nice. Okay. We need some scores. Need some scores on the board. Taste, stroke, flavour of the contents. This is not the pastry. It tastes all right. We've not had any big chunks of meat yet, though. There seems to be an awful lot of sort of gravy filler stuff going on. Like that bit. Almost tastes peppery, actually, as well. It's a bit weird. But it's all right. It's all right. It's not a bad taste. I'm going to give it. I mean, you've got to score it based on the type of the pie. This is steak and onion. I can definitely taste the onion. I'm going to give it a 6. Okay, structure falling apart. It's a bit early to tell. It's coping very well. We've not had any problems due to those cracks. In fact, we're about to encroach on the crack on the top. Nothing's happening. We've got a bit of a crack down the side, but it's hanging in there. Oh, there you go. Big chunk of meat. Excellent. So we'll come back to Folly Partners shortly. Runnability test. Here we go. Oh, and you can see the onion there. Look, big chunk of onion hanging out. Okay, 45 degrees. 30 seconds. Any movement at all. Remember, this pie doesn't have cheese in it. Cheese tends to be the main issue for running, runnability. Too much cheese, too hot, and it'll flow out like lava, basically. But that's coping pretty well. There's no movement whatsoever, so it gets full marks on that. So that's 10 for that. Meat quality. Well, there's a chunk of steak. Let's go after that. Wow, that's a big chunk. No gristle. That was nice. Good. I mean, it's not premium steak, right? Don't think that it is, but it's all right. A bit more onion there. I'll give it a 7. I think that was pretty good. I think it's due a 7. Okay, contents to pastry ratio. So, some pies, they have really thick sidewalls. There's a lot of pastry and there's hardly anything on the inside. Now, we're going to have to just take into account, I've just eaten a huge chunk of meat out of this corner, so it's pulled that pie down. It's sort of, I would say it's pretty average, is this one. There you go, look. It's not too bad. Obviously, we've had pies with a lot more filling than this one. So I'm going to give it is quite thick pastry down here on the side parts of the pie. It's reasonably thin down the bottom, and the top's pretty thin as well. Most of it's just there's that puff pastry on the top. Okay. So I'll give it a 6. I think it's a fraction above average. Now, availability stroke logistics. Bake Shack pies, I see them on a regular basis. They're in a lot of petrol stations, especially the smaller, more rural petrol stations, probably because they can freeze them. They're in supermarkets, a lot of supermarkets, so you can... Hang on. I've got a bit of pie leakage going on. Okay. So you can order them online through the supermarkets. The Bake Shack brand is pretty common, so I'll give them an 8 for that, and that's fair. Pastry taste rating. Okay. Now, there's no seasoning on this pastry. Not often, like with the Wild Bean Cafe pies, they put a lot of seasoning on the lids of the pies. This is just pastry. Well, it tastes just like pastry. It's pretty standard, you know, flavouring, and there's no bells and whistles on this one. Another big chunk of meat. Okay, so I'll give him a 6. Okay, still tasty when cold. My only dilemma here is we've got onions, and cold onions to me, not as bad as cold mushrooms, but still, I prefer just cold steak and cheese. That's fine for me, cold. Onions, a little bit slimy, a little bit, you know, okay. Just a very different taste. I'm going to give it a 4 for tasty when cold. It's not greasy though. One of the big benefits we tend to overlook on modern pies. The old pies used to be really greasy, just dripping in grease. That's not the case with a lot of the pies that we review these days. Good. Packaging design, very, very basic, just black and white. Lots of information on the back. Only downside we find with the Bake Shack pies is the black ink often rubs off. You can see there, look, classic on the front there. The word onion is starting to disappear. It seems to happen a lot on their packaging. I don't know why. Is it plastic? No, it's just normal paper. There's no plastic liner to the peg. But you know, it's all right. It's distinctive. There's no window there. You can't see what you're buying. They often put like a little timer symbol at the top where you're supposed to mark the time it enters the pie warmer. And if you haven't sold it by a certain time, it has to go in the bin. You know, a lot of places doesn't bother with that. I'm going to give them, I'll give them a 6. I think that's pretty reasonable. Probably about the highest score you could get for a paper bag, to be fair. Recyclable score, well, it is fully recyclable, and they've told us it is, so they get full marks for that. That's 10. Post pie heartburn, too soon. Stuffability score, too soon. Pie server attractiveness. This is a new bakery that I've never been to before. I don't know. I wonder if we can ring Mrs. Mechanic to find out. See if she's got her phone with her. Just bear with me a second. Bear with me, people. Not that one. Where is she? There she is. Call. Speaker. Turn up the volume. Nope.
Hello?
Oh, hello. Pie server attractiveness at this new establishment.
I wasn't at the new place.
Oh,
Their ovens are broken.
they've just opened.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's a
So I
bit.
got it from the petrol station.
Okay, give me a score. Pie server attractiveness. How?
It's the lady that you like, so whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, I'll give her a 7 then.
Alright.
I'll be in trouble later. Okay, see you later, darling.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Okay, you got it first hand. It wasn't the new pie shop that we thought was going to be the case. It was the existing petrol station. Right, so we've got that. I need to eat some more pie. Structure 40 partners is hanging in there. We've had no catastrophic failures yet. It's not a bad pie. It's a pie that I would definitely have again, there's no doubt. And I'm sure I've had a few of these in the past, you know, off camera. Simon, cut a block of wood at an angle to the back of the wood you're cutting, then add it to the 45 degrees to get the angle you want. It's just too organized, isn't it? I mean, yes, thank you, Simon, and you're absolutely correct. That would be the safe way of doing it. And I mean, end of the day, you know, like you say, you could maybe make a piece of wood that's 20 degrees angle and then just have that, and then adjust your saw to suit whatever you want. That would work, wouldn't it? Andy was in a rush. Andy was just being stupid. Andy made a mistake. I'm only human. I wanted to get my doors finished. I think it was the last cut as well. It was. It was one of the diagonals on the back of the door. Okay, 2 more bites and we're done. It is very... There's a lot of gravy filler in it. Although saying that, the bits of meat that were in were nice big chunks of meat. There was probably only 4 or 5 chunks of meat, and the rest of it was just this gravy filler with onion, bits of onion in it. But it still tastes nice. Even the filler tastes nice. So good job, Bake Shack. Okay. What have we got? Structure Volley Partners. It survived. I'll knock them one off for those cracks, but it didn't really affect the pie. Stuffability score. I think these are a 200-gram pie. Yes, 200-gram pie, which is the average for New Zealand. So, do I want anything else to eat? No, I'm actually all right. I'm good. So, we'll give them a 10 for that. They're sort of... I'm not overstuffed either, so that's why they get the full marks. Post pie heartburn. There was a burp earlier on, so we'll knock them one off for that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All the scores are in. So let's see if we can add it up. Because I'm knackered. If I get it wrong, let me know. Turn around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay. I have no idea why my phone keeps saying the orientation's wrong. It's wrong. I mean, I remember setting the orientation up. Oh, hang on. That was another burp. That's down to 8. Okay, so we've got 15, 25. Can't think anymore. 32, 38, 46, 52, 56. 56, 62, 72, 80, 90, 97. Not a bad score, to be fair. 97 for Bake Shack steak and onion. So I'm gonna write that. I've run out of things, as you know. So Bake Shack. An onion. I don't know, that remind me when I get those magnetic strips sorted out. So 97, not the best score in the world, but by far not the worst either. Let's go and see where that ended up on the scoreboard. 97. Oh, it's on the right hand door. That's a good start. Oh, there you go, look. It is. We'll make a gap for it. I'll find a bit of tape later on and stick it in there. Another Bake Shack, the bacon and egg, which we almost had this morning, so that was pretty cool. Same as Dad's Pies pepper steak, very tasty. Wild Bean Cafe classic steak and cheese. So pretty sort of ballpark, mid-range kind of a pie, to be fair. And not too far from the top, really. You know, not a bad pie, and they're not expensive either. Good value for money, I think. That one was probably about $4, $4.50. So there you go. Over here, whilst we're wandering. These are actually wheelbarrow tradesman's axles. Look at that. But these are just the right diameter for making those pins for the hinges. But that's all I've got, and that's nowhere near it. I'll probably get 4. In fact, I will just get 4 hinges out of those. So I'll need to find some of the stuff that's, you know, similar kind of diameter, or what I can turn down the lathe. But yeah, it's been a busy weekend already. And it's going to be very noisy when Mrs. Mechanic starts sandblasting those. Yeah. Oh, incidentally, Uncle Daniel will like this. Ben was teaching Uncle Daniel how to weld yesterday. Yes. But the last little bit was pretty good. Well, this is gasless welding. And that is, can you see that all right? Can you get some light on it? There you go. Look, that's Ben's welding. I thought it was pretty good. Can't grumble. He's pretty good at welding, is Ben. But yes, Uncle Daniel, a few more hours required, I think. But no, not, you know, not the end of the world. I've seen worse. Anyway, back to the bench. Okay, get rid of that. Nom nom nom. Get rid of all that. Dum dum dum. So yes, I do still need to get some of those magnetic strips. They're 300mm by 30mm. I've said that on camera so that when I forget what size it is, I can look at the live stream. So, oh yeah, I mentioned it in the live stream. I'll see if I can get some down in the South Island. Because the guys in the North Island that used to do them for me, they've moved. I don't know where they've gone. Can't find them anyway. So hopefully they're not going out of business. So we've got the rest of the cigarette to go, and then I'm going to crack on and get making these brackets, I think. So any questions? Go on. It's over to you, crew. I'm sure you've got some questions you'd like to ask me. I'm sure you have. Just while waiting for those to come through. Videos. Yes, I know. I've been pretty slow at videos. However, I did post a short, only the second short I've ever posted. And it was a video that Ben took of me driving Trevor the tractor with Mrs. Mechanic balancing on a pallet off the front loader as high as Trevor would go, washing her potting shed. And it got 7,400 views. What the hell? It's pretty cool, actually. I just couldn't believe how many views it got. So it may well be that we start doing a few more shorts. It didn't earn any money, but you know, it's fun to see them go out, and obviously it gained a few subs and bits and pieces. So that's always a bonus for the channel. We're only about 5,000 subscribers away from the big 100,000 now. Seems to be going on forever, but we will get there eventually, I'm sure. Although I checked. In fact, let me show you something. This is really bizarre. So if I go onto there, just bear with me, you'll like to see this. I go onto there, and I go on to, oh, hang on, I go on to live streams, press the wrong button there, lives. So we'll go on to last week's, the previous live stream, the woohoo one. So I'm bringing that up here. I'm going to go on to analytics. I can't show you everything. And I'm going to go on to audience, engagement, reach. Where is it? There's one that does the subscriptions, the subs. Oh, where is it gone? Subscribers. Oh, that one wasn't too bad. So on that one, it didn't lose me any subscribers. It lost me one and I gained one, which is fine. If I go back to the previous one, the prototype Tang Tools ratchets, we'll do the same thing on there. Views, watch times, yes. So that live stream lost me 2 subscribers. Really? It's sometimes it's a bit weird. Go on to that one. This is the one before that, and I always find it interesting. Yeah, and again, another 2 subscribers lost because of a live stream. It's just weird, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't put me off doing live streams. I just find it odd as to why, you know, if you don't want to watch the live stream, just don't watch it. Just wait for the videos to come out. People don't like shorts. I'm one of them, Law. I don't really watch shorts. You know, I mean, the channel itself is geared up as a like an educational based channel where I try to pass on knowledge in the videos, you know, how to fix stuff, how to test things, that kind of stuff. And shorts don't really lend themselves to that. And watching Mrs. Mechanic wash her potting shed has really got nothing to do with the channel. But 7,400 people watched it, which is just bizarre. So I don't plan to be doing loads of shorts. Don't get me wrong, that's not the case. But there might be a few more go out, you know, over the next 12 months, and we'll see how that pans out. Carvoca Designs, at 100,000, you'll get a YouTube rep suggesting you do this. Yeah, I already get those emails. I do. use a second channel for that. Yeah, I don't have the time to manage one channel, never mind two. But rest assured, I'm not suddenly going to jump onto doing loads and loads of shorts. It's not going to happen. There might be the odd one go out. I mean, it's taken, I think, the first short that I ever did was a little river crossing that I did on the DR200. And I think I put that out while I was actually doing the trip, just to let everybody know, that was still okay. But that was like 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago. So, I think one short every 18 months is probably not too much. Notifications are the issue for me. Man, we all get bombarded by notifications now. It's just a nightmare. I have to go through my phone on a regular basis and turn notifications off to all the stuff that seems to suddenly gain notification ability. I hear you. I really do. It's most frustrating because, when you hear a notification come through, you don't really know what it's for. So you check your phone and you go, oh, God, it's one of those. You've just wasted 5 seconds of your life checking your phone. So I do get you. I really do. So the 2 visits I've got to do this week, I've got one in Taramanui and one in Otrahanga. They're both about the same distance away. It takes about an hour and a half to get to each of them. I used to do both in one day, but it would usually be a long day and I wouldn't be able to quite do a full 3 hours at each site to get it all in. And certainly the Taramanui one, there's normally quite a lot to do down there. So it doesn't really do them justice. And they only see me twice a year now. So I thought, no, let's just do it a full day for each. And then I can stay on site and make sure that everything's done that needs to be done. Because it is important, and they do value my visits very much. And so do I. I think it's fantastic to still be able to go out to the dealers and talk to them face to face and solve problems in real time. Some manufacturers now don't have service reps going around the dealerships each year. Everything's just done over the phone, which is, I wouldn't be able to do my job over the phone or through like a Teams meeting or something like that. I actually physically have to go because there are certain things I have to inspect and make sure are being done correctly. I've got audits to do when I'm there. There's all sorts of stuff, and you just wouldn't be able to. It just wouldn't work. I don't see how it would possibly work. Plus, it's all about building that working relationship. I rely on them doing a good job. I provide them as much help and assistance as I can, and I expect them to go the extra mile to help me because I'm putting that effort in, and it does work. Dealers are the dealer network that I have to look after is absolutely fantastic. They are a brilliant bunch of guys, and they're very proactive and very, very helpful. They definitely could do a lot more than what they the bare minimum, that's for sure. Anyway, crew, I think we're about there. Actually, I don't see any more any more comments come through. The cigarettes nearly all gone, and just for reference, when I was in Australia, just before I go, duty free. So when I used to travel to Europe and stuff as a kid with my family, I sort of got the impression that, I didn't smoke then, obviously. You could bring in, I think, 200 cigarettes duty free from your holidays, bring them home back into the UK. And I've never even explored the opportunity of duty free going to Australia and back to New Zealand. But this time around, I thought, oh, maybe I could get some cigarettes because they're quite expensive and I could save some money if I just buy a pack, 200 cigarette pack. And but I'd never seen cigarettes for sale in duty free in the airports. It was like weird, So I had a little look around and I couldn't. There weren't any. So then I googled how many you can bring into Australia. 25 cigarettes is all you're allowed to bring in. Well, I had 2 packets of cigarettes, 2 new packets of cigarettes that I bought in New Zealand in my rucksack. I'm like, man, I've got to declare those. Okay. So I declared that I had 39 because I'd smoked one at the airport before I left. So I had 39 cigarettes and I'm allowed 25. And they said, look, that's fine. Thanks for declaring it. We won't charge you for those extra 14 cigarettes or whatever it is. Thank you very much. So then I tried, and then I looked to see what the limit was to bring back into New Zealand, which was the critical one for me. 50. 50 cigarettes. You're allowed to bring 50 cigarettes in duty free into New Zealand. It just wasn't worth the hassle. And no wonder they don't sell cigarettes at duty free anymore, because it's just not worth the hassle. You know, it's going to be a very low volume thing for them. They'd much rather sell alcohol, which you could bring, I think, 3.5 litres of alcohol in. It's just bizarre. Anyway, another little rant over. Just informative, to be fair. Simon, hit the like. Thank you, Simon. Tape them together long. It's one cigarette, honestly, officer. Oh, they do cover it because they cover it weight-wise as well. So if it's like a tobacco pouch, they cover it all weight-wise. So they know what they're doing. 2 times 200s here in Canada. We have Indian reserves that manufacture the tubes and grow all the plants. Well, there you go. Good income for them. That's called a joint. Okay, crew, I've got a lot of work to do again today. Thank you very much for your time and to join me in my rambles as always. I'm pleased we got a pie under our belt. Well done, Mrs. Mechanic, for sorting that out for us. Another one will be going on the board. I'm hoping to get those magnetic strips sorted out shortly. I'll see you all next time. Thank you again for all your support. See you around, guys. Cheers. Over and out.